Hello viewers, and welcome to the third video in my series on this restoration of my 1959 Levin 320. So I've made the decision that to properly repair the neck I will have to remove the neck, and as you can see from the picture I have done so. So today I'll just be showing you about the neck joint, how easy it was to remove. I'm not sure yet how easy it's going to be to put it back together, but we'll find out. So here we can see the neck joint apart. We can see the two bolts that go into the heel of the neck of the guitar. They're embedded in the heel of the neck. They go through two holes in the neck block in the body of the guitar and are secured by two things that act as nuts but look like bolts that also go through those holes in the neck block of the body. From this perspective, we get a better look at the holes that are in the neck block of the body itself. They are fairly large diameter holes because they're large enough for the nut bolt type things to pass through, which go over the threaded rods which are embedded into the heel of the neck itself. Here we get a better perspective of the two bolts that are actually embedded in the heel of the neck. Now the top bolt is actually the heel end of the truss rod. That rod goes all the way through to the tuning head of the guitar. And the bottom one is a little bit looser. It's just embedded into that slot in the heel. So here's a fun little shot, a perspective of what the neck block looks like when you look through the end pin hole. So this hole underneath the tailpiece is what you need to go through to get access to the bolts that bolt the neck on. And this is what it looks like with the neck and the bolts removed. So here's a couple of close-up shots of the biggest problem of this guitar's neck, which is how the maple strip down the center has shifted, and maybe through shrinkage, and it's taken with it in some places the walnut strip on either side. I'm assuming it's walnut, it might be some other dark timber on either side of the maple, between the maple and the mahogany. So yes, as you can see, in some places it's taken the walnut with it, in some places it has not. So it's going to be interesting to see how I can fix that. And here's just another shot from the other side of the neck showing the same issue. And as you can see, there's some glue there from the past when somebody's also attempted to repair this previously. And here's a close-up of where the neck transitions into the heel. This is probably the most tricky part, where the shrinkage is at its greatest. And as you can see, it's taken a little bit of the mahogany with it here as well. So yes, I'm guessing this will be the most difficult part of the restoration of the guitar, is just fixing this as neatly and cleanly as possible. So obviously in the process of repairing this guitar, I'm going to have to refinish the back of the neck. To refinish the neck, I needed to remove the tuners. While removing the tuners, I came across something quite bewildering. As you can see here, this is the tuner for the A string. One of the screws that holds it in place doesn't have a slot for a screwdriver. It's quite bewildering how this was ever installed in the first place in the factory. But anyway, to remove this tuner, I had to cut a slot in that screw head to enable installing a screwdriver to remove it. For your information, the ferrules on the tuning heads that go on through those holes and the tuning head posts go through the ferrules, these are a press fit. Even though they do have a hex head and they look like they might screw into the wood or screw onto the ferrules, they don't. They're just a press fit. So if you've got the right size drift, you can just push them out from behind. So I have actually started doing some repair work. I'm not just still in the pulling the guitar apart stage. I have found that crack on the bass side near the F hole there was still moving. So I've put some glue into the crack and I've made a little splint of spruce with the grain going perpendicular, which will go underneath. Where you see it in the photograph on the left, that's just showing you on the outside where it's going to go on the inside. The photograph on the right is showing the piece clamped in place while the glue is drying. So thanks again for watching. As I said, this is just a short little video to catch you up with where things are at in regards to having removed the neck and showing you the neck joint and how that works. Hopefully by the next video I will have made some really good progress with actually doing some work on repairing this guitar, and I'll show you where things are at and putting it all back together.